Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. Today we have 3 more glorious stories ahead of us. And in this episode, you'll see, first, the story about the lady who wants to fix the phone for free. The second's about Karen, who's going to fire you and your boss, too. I hope she doesn't get to the main boss. And a third story about a very strange cashier. So, let's get started. I'm not tech support. I'm a teacher. So this just happened yesterday at a college where I teach. During the week, all classes are suspended and the students prepare their projects for the weekend where they will present to anyone interested. Some kids get jobs, so it works great. At the same time they get prepared, all teachers have to make some kind of presentation. During the presentation, I only had one problem. A girl came into the room talking on her phone loud enough to bother everyone else. I had to ask her to leave, and she just looked at me and left. No apologies. After the presentation, I decided to help my students, so we went to the lab with all the equipment. I'm in the middle of helping the first group when the girl from the presentation entered the lab. I noticed her entering, but didn't really care as all the students were free to come into work. After finishing with the first group of students, I noticed she was still there standing close to us, just watching me. I ignored her and started working with the second group. This seemed to bother her because she started sighing and scolding at me. I finished helping my students and decided to leave as I needed to be somewhere else for a meeting with the other teachers. That's when she finally talked to me. She will be entitled brat, EB. EB, are you finally done? Me, if you need consulting, please request it at the front desk. That's what they taught us about dealing with female students. EB, I need you to check my phone. This wasn't a first for me, as many teachers and workers have come to ask for free tech support. Me, I grabbed my things and started to leave the lab. Sorry, but I don't handle personal devices. EB, don't walk away from me. Are you listening to me? I'm insert completely unknown name for me's daughter. Me, I don't know him. I can't help you. Go to a repair shop. I'm not IT. They're next door. EB, yes you are. The sign says you fix stuff for free. Okay, now here's an important detail. In this college, there are mechanical engineering students that fix minor issues with any car you bring to their garage. They put a big sign outside. It basically says, come for a free checkup on your car. I was supposing that that was what she was referring to. Me, I don't fix anything for free. If you have any complaints, please go to the front desk. EB, but I just saw you help everyone on the workshop, and you didn't charge them. I'm going to report you. Me, those are my students. EB, they are not. Me, yes they are. I'm a teacher. Here's my ID. EB looks at it for a while. I'm going to report you. At this point, I decided to not deal with this anymore, so I just started walking away. She didn't like that. She started following me and trying to grab me. I reached a part of the building where you can't get past unless you have an employee ID, so that's where I lost her. I thought that was it, but HR called me today and said that someone had reported me. They asked me to go to the office. Apparently, the girl was the daughter of some guy working in accounting. She often went to visit her father when she had an issue with her phone. Her father told her to go to IT as they were supposed to fix everything they need. Apparently, those were the girl's father's words while explaining everything to HR. After I refused to help her, her father decided I should be fired. He doesn't have the power to decide that. The reason? As I'm a teacher for IT-related classes, I should also do tech support. So by not helping her, I'm not fulfilling my duty as a teacher. HR told him to F off. They thought something bad had happened as the guy requested to only speak when everyone involved was present. Also, he was not supposed to let his daughter wander around the building because they prohibited non-students and teachers around the labs. Apparently, it's not the first time he's done something stupid, so he got a memo. Second one on his record. One more and they can fire him with no benefits. I didn't get an apology from them, but at least I got a free soda from HR. Next March, if you're in the U.S., take your W-2 and all your receipts to him, throw them on his desk, and tell him you'll be back later to pick up your completed tax return. He's in accounting, and it's obvious he's there to do your taxes for free. It's his job. And our second story. Get a cheaper babysitter? Not my last job, but the one that went before through a period when they required I wear a uniform. Basically, it was a dark blue button-up, or Oxford style. I ended up with 4 of the button-up and 3 of the Oxfords. Also, being in IT, I thought I looked more professional in khakis. I bet you can tell the location of this tale. I was in Wally World, looking at their vending machine in the entryway, when a woman came storming past me, screaming at the poor door greeter that she was in a hurry, was paying someone to watch her kid, and needed something fast. I don't remember what. Some cooking appliance that I'm not familiar with, maybe? So finally, I pick my drink, get my can, and head in to get my groceries, and the woman sees me and walks over, waving and snapping and yelling to get my attention. This leads only to me looking at her like she was a nut and raised an eyebrow. I need a thing. I'm in a hurry since I'm paying that thief of a neighbor every half hour to watch my kid, so hurry up and get one for me. Someone thought Walmart was a full-service shop? I explained somewhat rudely that I don't work there. If you come stomping up to me, yelling and waving and making me consider punching you in the face a good way to not get hurt, I'm not a civil being. Don't try that game. You kids today hate working. Go get me thing right this minute or I'll report you to management. Oh no, not management. Please, miss, don't report me. I'll go grab it right now. Apparently she missed the sarcasm dripping from the words and waved me away. I ran off like I was in a hurry to the home appliance aisle on the other side of the store. Grabbed a shopping cart, proceeded to get my groceries. Every 10 or 15 minutes, I'd run back over without a cart and assure her I was looking, that it might be in the back somewhere. The magical in the back seemed to please her. I kept this going for the 2 hours it took me to grab all my food. Cold stuff last, naturally, then went to buy it. At the register, right near her, I made it a point to wave and click and snap to get her attention. She exploded and began screaming and cussing and stomping, demanding to know what I was doing shopping instead of helping her. The poor cashier didn't know what to do and just set her light to flashing and got the hell out of there. I told you, I'm not an employee here. I'm trying to get my food and you interrupted the process. Go away. Get me a manager. I'm going to have you fired and then I'm going to have your boss fired. Tell you what, I'll call my boss. I want them here right now. A manager of some sort was talking to the cashier, one of the women who stand up front at the little not register thing. I called Mike, my boss at the repair shop, and explained I had an angry woman wanting to talk to him. Even without speakerphone, she heard him say, "Tell her to F off then," and hang up. That made everything better. Finally, one of the actual managers came up and tried calming the woman down to explain that I did not work there and harassing me was causing a scene, and he would be happy to take her to his office, bend over backward, and let her ream him verbally if it helped. Apparently it wouldn't. She proceeded to call him a liar and slapped him hard enough to knock his glasses off. Now she was yelling at him, he was screaming at her and into his radio, and a cop was headed their way. I finally got the cashier to come back and begin ringing me up, and while the cop was arresting the woman for assault, I sat there apologizing to the girl about it all. The manager finally asked me why the woman was so mad at me, and I just told him she thought I worked there. I told her I didn't, and she assumed I was lying and apparently was waiting on me to get something for her. The cop had a partner, I guess, show up, and he took a statement from me outside wherein I told him the whole story. Got me a slight chuckle, then a disapproving, "You know I could arrest you for disorderly conduct, right?" By this point, my ice cream was feeling pretty sloshy, so I went back in to get it replaced. The manager again asked me if I did anything to antagonize the woman. I said no. The door greeter actually backed up my story by verifying I did tell the woman I wasn't an employee and got threatened for doing so. Got my new ice cream, went home, made tacos for dinner, and hoped I never saw that woman again. And our third story. I was made to stand behind the counter to approve my own check. I was a young professional in the early 2000s looking for a dress for my grad school's casino night. It must have been Macy's or some other type of department store, as I was being rung up by an old cashier lady. A seemingly wealthier customer wanted assistance finding a dress for her daughter. I was attempting to pay with a check. I knew the deal from a former stint in retail. It was always an inconvenience, but this was before registers could electronically scan checks. When the check number is low, it looks like a new checking account. The person looks young or the dollar amount of the purchase is high. Store clerks had to call the bank to get approval for the purchase amount on the check. This always took forever, but I didn't have a credit card or debit card at the time. no cash in my wallet, and I had to pay for the dress with a check. Well, the old cashier lady decided she no longer wanted to wait on the phone for my payment approval and would rather help the other lady instead of me. So what does she do? Tells me that the bank is taking too long to answer. I really wanted the dress and was starting to get upset that the cashier obviously wanted me to go away so she could help someone else. I was embarrassed and confused, so when OCL started to get impatient, like an idiot, I offered to wait on the phone to approve my own purchase. Not only that, but OCL gives me the phone and walks away with wealthy customer. So there I am, not an employee, standing at a cash register on hold waiting to approve my own purchase. The reality of how rude I was treated and how ridiculous it was for me to be standing there sunk in. I hung up, dropped the beautiful and cute dress on the floor, and left. Sitting in my car crying, I called 411 from my Nokia to get the store's phone number and asked for a manager. I told her the complete story. I told her that not only was I made to feel inferior by her unprofessional employee, that she was lucky I wasn't a thief because I was basically told to serve myself. The manager was sympathetic to the complaint, but was utterly shocked to hear that I was behind a cash register by myself. I'm so glad I called immediately because I told the manager that yes, OCL was working right now. Sad and depressed, I went to Fashion Bug and got a cheaper, less pretty dress, lamenting my youth and brand new checking account. I'm so glad I can just swipe and sign these days. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.